Once upon a time, in the ancient city of Rome, there lived a Stoic philosopher named Lucius. He was known for his calm mind and his ability to face life's challenges without complaint. But there was something unusual about Lucius. He often smiled, even laughed, in situations where others would frown or despair. His students wondered how a Stoic, who valued reason and self-control, could find humor in difficult moments. One day, a young student named Marcus dared to ask him, "Master, why do you laugh when life is so full of suffering? Isn't laughter against the teachings of Stoicism?" Lucius leaned back and replied, "Marcus, tell me, when a man slips on a banana peel and falls, do you laugh?" Marcus hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, but only if he isn't hurt." Lucius smiled. "Exactly. Laughter is not a rejection of seriousness, but a way to see the world clearly. The Stoics do not teach us to be emotionless statues. They teach us to see life as it is, sometimes absurd, sometimes painful, but always fleeting. Humor helps us accept this truth without bitterness." Marcus frowned. But the great Stoic teachers like Seneca and Epictetus spoke of discipline, not jokes. Lucius nodded. "True, but Seneca also wrote that laughter can be a weapon against fortune. Imagine a man who loses his job. If he curses the gods, he suffers twice, once from the loss, and again from his anger. But if he laughs and says, 'Fortune, you've given me time to find something better,' he disarms misfortune. Humor does not weaken his To prove his point, Lucius told Marcus a story from his own life. Years ago, he had been traveling when bandits attacked his caravan. They took everything, his money, his horse, even his cloak. As he stood shivering in the cold, one of the bandits sneered, "What will you do now, philosopher?" Instead of despairing, Lucius laughed and said, "I suppose I will learn what it's like to be a beggar. Thank you for the lesson." The bandits were so surprised they left him alone. Marcus was puzzled. But laughter didn't change the situation. "You still lost everything." Lucius shook his head. "Ah, but it changed me. By laughing, I refused to let fear control me. That is the role of humor in Stoicism. Not to mock suffering, but to rise above it. A Stoic does not laugh because life is easy. A Stoic laughs because life is hard, and laughter makes it light." Over time, Marcus began to understand. He saw how Lucius used humor not to escape reality, but to face it with courage. When a storm ruined their crops, Lucius joked, "Nature reminds us who is truly in charge." When a rival philosopher insulted him, Lucius grinned and said, "If his words were true, I would be angry. Since they are false, why should I care?" One evening, the city was struck by a terrible earthquake. Buildings crumbled, and people screamed in panic. Marcus, trembling, turned to Lucius and asked, "How can you smile at a time like this?" Lucius put a hand on his shoulder. "Because this, too, shall pass. The earth shakes, but our minds need not. Laughter is not disrespect to those who suffer. It is a reminder that even in chaos we can choose our response." Years later, when Marcus became a teacher himself, he passed on Lucius' wisdom. He told his students about the old Stoic who laughed in the face of misfortune. Some misunderstood, thinking Stoicism was about making jokes of everything. But the wise ones saw the truth. Humor was a tool, like reason or discipline, to navigate life's storms. And so the story of Lucius lived on, not as a tale of a man who never felt pain, but of a man who refused to let pain define him. Because in the end, Stoicism was never about suppressing joy or sorrow. It was about freedom, the freedom to choose how we see the world. And sometimes, the bravest choice is to laugh, because laughter, in its purest form, is an act of defiance. It says, "You cannot break me." It says, I see the absurdity, and I embrace it. And that, perhaps, is the most stoic response of all. So the next time life tests you, remember Lucius. Remember that humor is not weakness, but strength. A strength that does not come from ignoring pain, but from facing it with a smile. For in the end, even the darkest night is lighter when we learn to laugh. And that is the role of humor in Stoicism. Not to mock, not to escape, but to endure with grace, with wisdom, and yes, with a smile.